I feel like you earn about, I mean, once you've been to prison, nothing else is scary. I have flirted with a couple. I could hear them like making out in the back. Like I hear the, like you could hear her like, So when Uber drivers have to use the bathroom, you can only hope that there's no client in the car, and then you can pull into like a 7-Eleven or like a fast food restaurant. If you do have a client in the car and it's a long trip, you just gotta hold it. Well, one time I was an Uber rider in this case. I wanted to go to the grocery store. So the driver was like, well, do you mind, because I haven't had lunch, do you mind if I get out and grab something too? Which was fine. So we were both in the store at the same time, and then we met back at the car. And she did keep the meter running, which was fine. I have run low on gas before, and my car is one of those cars that starts like beeping when you're down to your last few gallons. So, like you have the little trip meter that shows you how much gas you have left and stuff. And sometimes I'll push it, like I'll like take a fare and I'll have like 10 miles left. And it's always that fare where you're like, okay, I got 10 miles, I'll probably get a fare. That's close, that's only 2 miles. And that one will be like 40 miles. And you're like, crap. My backseat, yeah, this is not taxi cab confessions, and I do not want to have to clean that. I had one couple that was like making out, visibly older man and a younger woman. She wasn't like a teenager or anything like that, but you could tell like, seemed like, I don't know, a sugar daddy, maybe 90 Day Fiance situation. I don't know what was happening there. And they were making out, and I have, what's that called? Mesophobia or whatever it's called. The thing where like when people chew loud, it drives you crazy. Like it makes you nuts. So I could hear them like making out in the back. Like I hear it. And I was just like, oh God, like 10 more minutes. Okay, hurry up, let me get them out. And then I had a couple total opposite end that were fighting and like cussing each other out. And I just had to be like, I was just like, hey, you guys okay back there? Because we're not having fighting or domestic abuse in my vehicle. I have flirted with a couple of Uber drivers that I have had, but it's gone nowhere. I haven't had a client that I had a crush on, but I have had a few like flirt with me, and I'll like maintain the flirt for the duration of the ride. But then when it's over, it's a get out. Just get out of my car. Just get out of my car. I had someone throw up on my car from outside, and that was upsetting because so it was this lady and her two friends. Two of them got in the back, one got in the front. One of them was really, really drunk, and she was kind of like, you could hear her like, and so I was just talking to the one in the front or whatever, and I heard the girl kind of like dry heaving, and I was like, are you okay? You need me to pull over? And her friend in the back was like, no, we're fine. And the one in the front kept talking to me like she's trying to distract me from her friend being sick in the back, right? And when I dropped them off, I got out of the car and there was throw up all over my back, the back panel of my car. So she at least had the courtesy to hang her head out of the window, which I appreciated. Your rider is responsible for the client. And basically that's why the fee is like $150 or $200, because that's what Uber estimates you would have made if you were able to work. So if you charge like the $200 fee, people do leave stuff on a pretty regular basis. I've had people leave their keys, their iPhones, their laptops, things like that. I try to check the car. There is a way through the Uber app where you can contact the driver and I'll meet up with them and give it back to them. And if they don't, then I just kind of like, I don't know, I hold it, it's all like sitting in my car still. I haven't thrown anything away, but nobody's contacted me for like their sunglasses. I know people who have, or drivers who have gotten rides to Las Vegas. Like you absolutely can. I mean, and it'll show us, because it'll say, like, it won't say specifically the address, but it'll say the time. So when the ride pops up, it'll say like hour and 15-minute trip, 4-hour trip, things like that. And then you can accept it or you can deny it. It's more my experience that Uber drivers are Lyft drivers, because I have both apps. I'm on both apps, and I see more of that than anything. If anything, the beef is with taxi drivers and like rideshare drivers, Uber drivers, like yellow taxi drivers and Uber and Lyft drivers, because of how the rideshare companies kind of disrupted the taxi market. You can always cancel the ride, right? So you can always be like, if you don't like this, I'll pull over, you can get out and we'll cancel the ride. I'll make sure you don't get charged and you can find somebody else. My thing is always, if the person calls me like right after I accept the ride, asking where I am or asking like how long it's gonna take me to get there, because it's on the app, I usually like cancel the ride before I even pick them up. Well, as an Uber driver, I always feel like our boss is Uber. We don't have anybody that we report to directly, and it's very hard to get in touch with like our support center at Uber. But in terms of like, do we have somebody that we have to report to when we clock in and out? No, but Uber is your boss in the way that if you get below a certain rating, they'll kick you off the platform and you can't work. If you turn down a certain number of rides in a certain time period, I think it's like if you turn down like 5 rides, they'll kick you off the app for like an hour. An Uber driver can be fired if their rating falls below, I believe it's a 3.8. And of course, if you get, criminal complaints, like if something happens and a driver reports that you attacked them or harassed them or something like that, they can kick you off the platform in those cases. My car, I do keep like pepper spray and a little taser with me, but I do feel safe working at night in Uber until I get a rider that asks me if I feel safe. They would be like, oh, a female driver? Like, is it safe for you to be driving at night? And then it's kind of like, well, I thought it was. Like, you got something planned? Like, what are you about to do? So when they ask me that, I say, yeah, once you've been to prison, nothing else is scary. And it gets quiet. It gets pin drop silence for the rest of the ride. So most of the ads are like earn up to $25 an hour, $22 an hour or whatever. The reality of the situation is I feel like you earn about $15 an hour, and that's by design also in how their algorithm works with how many trips you get sent and stuff. Like you're gonna earn enough to cover minimum wage. So here it's $13.25 an hour. If you're in like North Carolina, I think it's something like $9 an hour or whatever. But in order to make like $22.25 an hour, like you really just have to be out there all day, and then it's all in the number of trips. So what Uber will do is they'll give you so many long trips and so many like short trips, like trips that are gonna take you 40 minutes to get there and 40 minutes to get back, or you'll get like, some days you'll get like trips that are only gonna pay you $3. They take about 25%. So some days you'll be out there and you'll get like 10 trips that are like $3 each. And that might be a slow day. So you'd be out there for 6 hours and you only made $36. But then you'll get a trip that's like, they'll have you go to Long Beach at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And that's like a $30, $40 trip. And so now in 7 hours, you've made $60. So now you're up to like $10, $11 an hour, something like that. So yeah, it's not, it would really have to be your full-time job for you to get to those, like, earn up to $25 an hour. Yeah, they take about 25%, and you just really got to be out there. You don't get more money when you pick up a client from a rich area, because honestly, rich people are cheap. That's how they keep their money. They don't spend it, right? So, and then also, you know, the equation for Uber is the time and the distance. My biggest tip was a cash tip, and it was like $25. And I picked up some longshoremen from like a bar in Long Beach, and they just went to their Airbnb, which is like 15 minutes away. But you know, drunk people are happy people a lot of times. So they were just like, here you go. And then the guy that called the Uber tipped me, so it was $30. The guy that called the Uber tipped me $10 on the app. And then his buddy in the car gave me $20 when he got out. I would suggest this job to anyone looking to make a little money. If you're having a hard time getting a job, you know, in the traditional ways, you know, like working at a retail store or in your field with your degree, then I feel like the rideshare services, like the little delivery services and stuff, they're great, and they're kind of easy to get on. Sometimes they have a wait, like Uber. When I signed up, Uber had a long wait, but they're fairly easy to get on. Usually you just download the app and sign up, and it'll set you up with like a day to go and have your inspection done. And then once you have your inspection done, you're free to ride. Always keep your car clean, and have like I have water and mints in my car. People really do appreciate that. Your water, your mints, and your charger. People absolutely do not know how to drive in LA. I don't, and people from LA will tell you, oh, it's the transplants. But I feel like a lot of the transplants come from places where they know how to drive. So there's a clash. They don't, and especially if it's raining, God, like, it's a mess.